What's up, George Nation? You guys see me always dressed like this, and I got asked recently, like, why I dress like this, why I dress like a greaser, I guess. So I'm gonna explain it. I'm gonna explain everything, kind of do a deep dive on, like, what is a greaser, what's the culture about, where did it originate, how it survived until today, and kind of what the modern greaser is like. And I'll show you my crew jackets probably towards the end, but yeah, let's get into it. The original era greasers were working class kids who wanted a sense of brotherhood. Think like mechanics, kids with hot rods, and bikers. The style arose from this sense of rebellion, and you see a lot of greasers nowadays rocking like engineer boots and jeans and t-shirts. That all came from a place of practicality, because all of these things were cheap and durable at the time. The pompadour and slick hair in general became kind of the signature hairstyle, and of course rock and roll was the signature soundtrack. You gotta realize, in post-World War II America, Elvis was seen as like hardcore rock and roll, you know? They didn't have rock back then. Elvis was rock. You got guys like Elvis, Eddie Cochran, and Chuck Berry, like rock and roll rebellion, you know? You also got like doo-wop and stuff like that, but I won't be getting into that right now. This is more about like rebellion and rock and roll. That's the original era greaser. And there's also the revival era greaser, which came around in the 70s and 80s and into the 90s. The style never really died, but there was a big boom around this time. And it was sparked by movies like The Outsider and bands like the Stray Cats. And it kind of went global in a sense. You got people like the Strangers in Harajuku. Actually, I partied with them. I'll put up a little video. I'm going to see them at their 35th anniversary next week, actually. So I might make a video on that. I don't know yet. But you got them. And there was greaser and rockabilly clubs in Europe springing up at the time, and across America as well. Now let's transition a little bit into the modern day greaser. What I am, I would consider myself a modern day greaser. Being born in the 2000s, I wasn't there for the revival era. I was a little too old to have seen like the Fonz on TV, or I watched The Outsiders growing up. I read the book, but you know, that was kind of before my time. So I get asked a lot like, hey, why are you acting like it's still the 50s? Or like, oh, you're stuck in the 50s. It's not about the 50s, right? I feel like it's carrying that rebellious spirit, you know, and like just kind of living life and the sense of community and brotherhood. That's what it's all about to me, you know. Just hanging with a bunch of cool cats, and you don't even got to be drinking or smoking or doing anything crazy. Just kicking it with like-minded people. It's great. It's great to have a community. And you can find greaser crews all over. Tokyo has the Strangers. You got the Fallen Angels. Or I think Fallen Angels aren't from Tokyo. They might be from a different prefecture, but they're in Japan. I met some of them in Tokyo, so that's why I said Tokyo. You got crews over in Europe. You got crews kind of all over the world. I haven't seen any here on Guam, though. I think I'm the only one. If any greasers from Guam are watching this, though, hit me up. I'd like to kick it. And it's not just a fashion trend, you know. It's really a subculture. And I feel like a lot of people, when they see me, they kind of misunderstand. They think like I put on this jacket to cosplay or to role play as like a 50s greaser. I am a greaser. It's just when I put on the jacket, I look more like a greaser, if that makes sense. I could wear jeans and a black t-shirt. Just the way that I wear jeans and a black t-shirt would kind of mark me as a greaser, you know? Like, I smoke cigarettes, so I'll put my cigs here. I'll cuff up my jeans. I'll wear boots, my engineer boots, you know? I don't think anyone really wears engineer boots anymore today, aside from, like, greaser cats. Rockabilly guys, too. Actually, on that topic of rockabilly, let me differentiate what being a rockabilly, or being about rockabilly is, and what being a greaser is, because they're different. A rockabilly isn't a greaser, you know? Rockabilly is a music, it's a genre. Greaser is kind of the style, the lifestyle, the look, you know, kind of everything that embodies the subculture. Being a greaser is a subculture. You can't be rockabilly, if that makes sense. You can't be a rockabilly. Rockabilly musicians can be rockabilly musicians. You know, greasers love rockabilly. You can be a rockabilly musician and not be a greaser. And there's some bands where, like, for example, like Messer Chups. Messer chups, greasers that I know at least, myself included, I love messer chups. But there's also other subcultures, like people who are into, I think, Italian horror films. I'm not sure where exactly, but they love messer chups too. But they're not greasers, right? They just enjoy the sound. And that's what rockabilly is, really. It's a sound. It's a sound. It's not lifestyle like being a greaser is. You can be a greaser and not be into rockabilly, you know? You might like psychobilly. You might like doo-wop. They overlap a lot, so I understand why people get confused about it, but they're not the same thing. At the heart of it, I think being a greaser is about community, finding your people, and kind of knowing that, like, you have these people and they'll always be there. There's a brotherhood to it, at least in like a crew. If you're a solo greaser, that's cool too. You know, you just love the classics and enjoy, you know, the lifestyle and the attitude, if that makes sense. Actually, I have a crew. Let me show you my jacket. So, this is my jacket, and I'll probably put a little video up here of me with it on, but this is the back. It says Kaeranai. Basically means like can't go home, or refusing to go home, or won't go home. This, before it became my crew name, actually was my my nickname. I was called Kaeranai Joji back in Japan because I would drink all night into the morning. Bars close at 5 usually, but I'd stay until like the bartenders left, and maybe we would even go drinking after that. And then I'd be there the next day, and I started hanging at the bar so often that, you know, I became friends with a lot of bartenders from a lot of different bars, like metal bars, rock bars, music bars, karaoke lounges, stuff like that. And the name Kaeranai Joji was actually given to me by a bartender at a bar called From Dusk Till Dawn, because I walked in, got blackout drunk, and then I was telling him, like, yeah, I got a flight tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. And I had left, I believe, at 4 a.m. I left a little bit early to go catch the flight, right? But I ended up not making that flight, so I canceled it, changed it to the next day. And so he thinks I'm home. I walk back into the bar when they open, and he was like, "Well, George, what are you doing here?" And I tell him, like, "Oh, I had to cancel my flight. I was so messed up. Tonight I'm gonna take it easy." I didn't take it easy. I ended up blacking out. And same thing happened. And it ended up repeating for about 3 weeks straight. I extended my flight. And I believe about 1 week into it, they just started calling me Kaeranai Joji because I would never go home. I was just always there. And I feel like my crew name, I like this name because it kind of embodies the spirit of what I like, you know? Just seizing the night, just living life in the moment, I guess. Not necessarily being self-destructive. In that moment, I was self-destructive. I was drinking way too heavily and making irresponsible financial decisions, you know, but hey, who cares? I was having fun, and I feel like that's what it's all about, you know? You only live one life. You gotta make a couple mistakes on the road, you know? And this, some of you guys might recognize this logo. This is a logo that was drawn for me by the homie Abe, one of my first viewers on the channel, actually, and he got me to get back into making content, and yeah, it was really great. This is how I would dress all the time. I don't know if you can see a resemblance, you know, my hair's not as tall right now. I kind of need a haircut, but yeah, this is my jacket, my personal jacket. It's a flathead jacket from Tokyo. And it got my name on it right here. Joji. Let me show you some of my other jackets. I guess that's not a jacket, but I do use it as an outer layer. This isn't embroidered, but it's a Dickies, like, I guess work jacket, or work shirt. And this one's just printed. Same thing, Kaeranai. But on my other ones, I have them embroidered. This one's navy blue. I'm actually getting some black ones done right now. But yeah, so that's kind of a little backstory on why I dress like this and my crew and stuff like that. Actually, let me tell you one more story. So my grandfather was, when I was growing up at least, he always had slick hair. He wore blue jeans. You know, he had a mustache and a beard, kind of like I do. I'm copying his style almost exactly. Just no earrings and no necklace. But growing up, I would always see him and I thought, wow, he's so cool. When I was younger, actually, in middle school, kind of like 8th grade into high school, I cut my hair short, shorter than this, and I wanted to grease it up like him. But by the time I was in middle school, he had stopped greasing up his hair, and he grew it out, and he had a little ponytail and stuff like that. He got a lot more chill, and I didn't know how to grease my hair. I didn't know anything about it, you know, so I got a tub of Vaseline, and I would use Vaseline mixed with like some hairstyling wax, kind of like whatever I had around the house. And my jeans were faded because I had had them for so many years. I couldn't afford boots. I had Converse, some black and white Converse that were all beat up, some Chuck Taylors, and like I remember wanting so badly denim. I wanted denim so badly. I wanted a denim jacket. I wanted like nice white t-shirt, you know, not like the thin white t-shirt, but I wanted a proper white t-shirt. And growing up, I wanted these things so badly, but, you know, I didn't want to trouble my grandparents to have to buy them for me. So I just was a greaser with what I had, you know. And actually, I'll throw up a picture. It's a little embarrassing for me, but I'll throw up a picture of when I was younger and in my greasing days, you know, if I can find one. But yeah, so now I dress like this. It's just kind of what I wanted to do since I was a little kid. I always thought they were cool. I thought my grandparents were cool. My grandma actually taught me how to dance. I was there last week and she saw my outfit. You know, I don't usually go up there with my full everything on, but I was there with everything on, and yeah, we danced a little bit. She's a really, really good dancer. She knows how to do the jitterbug and then the twist. She can do all of it, even at her old age. But now that I'm older, you know, I don't wear, I guess, in a sense, the affordable clothing that like greasers would choose, right? These are a little more expensive. Like my jacket, for example, my denim jacket, that's from Flathead. These jeans, actually, these are from Flathead. These boots are Lewis Leathers boots, you know, because I used to ride back in the day, and I've always loved the idea of engineer boots, so I got me a pair, and you know, it's not exactly in the spirit, I guess, of the working class, but now that I'm older and I have it, I spend it, because growing up, I wanted this so badly. But yeah, that's kind of why I dress like this now, and it's great. I love it so much. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys have any questions about greasing or like the culture or anything at all, or how you guys can start, man, I'll make a video on how to dress and like what the idea is behind everything, and what type of music to listen to, what type of accessories, or like whatever, you know. It's kind of dependent on like who you are, what you like, kind of deal. But yeah, it's great. I love greasing. Greasing's such a good time. Keep an eye out for that Japan video. I'm excited. Next week I'm gonna go, and it should be a good time, man. If I don't make a long video, I apologize. I was having too much fun drinking. So yeah, until next time. Peace.